Vail VR, a game that is finally launched on MetaQuest Store and Steam. A VR game that is boasting unparalleled combat. Now, in this video, we're going to take a deep look at it, see what is great about it, what is not so great about it, and where it's going to be going next. As someone who has beta tested the game on the MetaQuest side of things, and someone who has been watching the game for a lot longer than that, I'm excited to give a deep dive into the game here. With that in mind, I will be posting timestamps in the description and the comments for your viewing pleasure, and I hope you enjoy the video. Vail VR is a VR competitive shooter which emphasizes gunplay, combat, and teamwork, having many tournaments and being a game in the IVRL. Set in the future, where the Earth has been blighted and combat hasn't occurred for years, two distinct opposing forces exist: the colonists and the Rehab Corporation. The colonists, as the name implies, have moved on to colonize other planets, while Rehab consists of those who stayed in an attempt to rebuild Earth under Rehab Corporation's guidance and protection. The colonists see the future in the rest of the galaxy, but are forced to return to Earth to obtain sensitive data from artifacts. Unfortunately, these artifacts are protected by the Rehab Corporation as they seek to maintain control over the populace of Earth. Forced into a war, both sides recreate the weapons from the past, and as the war evolves, humanity's future lies in the balance and becomes uncertain. In Vail, you can become one side of the conflict, as we are left to see what happens next. Vail VR has been in development for 7 years by the dev team AEXLAB. Founded by two brothers working on the game as a passion project, they formed the dev team that would soon become what it is today. In the past year alone, the developers have made massive strides in the development of the game. From moving the game's engine to Unreal Engine 5, which by all accounts was a risky endeavor and has caused a myriad of issues for other games, to successfully porting the game to Quest Native. This game has had an exciting past year alone. After preliminary pre-alpha tests in 2021 and alpha tests in early 2022, the game entered beta on Steam in 2022, and shortly afterwards announced an IVRL tournament. As the team continued development, the game eventually entered early access on Steam in November 2022. During this time, they added South American and Asian servers, which was a crucial step in making their game accessible to a wider audience. Hard at work adding more content to the game. Sometime during this time, AEXLAB made a crucial choice: the movement to Unreal Engine 5. After roughly 3 months of known content, in March 2023, they revealed more about what was to come in the following months. A roadmap, and as far as I can tell, an announcement moving to Unreal Engine 5 to allow for a much more polished port to Quest. At this point, many casual players had started playing other games they wanted more content. Only having a few modes and a small pool of maps, this was certainly a problem. In April, they released the Unreal Engine 5 update, one of the first VR games to use this revolutionary engine. With this came a new map, hardpoint, and 3 new guns: the MR96, a bolt-action sniper rifle, the G28Z, a semi-automatic DMR, and the Grot B. Like many games which have swapped over to this engine, there was plenty of bugs. The following weeks, the dev team would be hard at work squashing these bugs and preparing for another big milestone: launching the game on Quest. This would prove to be a difficult challenge for the dev team, but would pay off if it was done correctly. In the following months, the dev team would make moves to optimize the game and squash as many bugs as possible, leading to the Quest Alpha. And in the summer of 2023, they finally did it. The game was now in Quest in a closed alpha. In the following months, they would continue the work on the game, and on November 3rd, made another stride, introducing the shuttle to the game, a hub in between games where players could vote on what map and mode they would like to play, as well as fixing many more bugs and reworking the structure of the game to make future updates easier to implement and make downloads smaller. Then, 10 days later, another big milestone was reached. Vail had officially been made available on AppLab. With this update, they also overhauled the menu and improved upon the shuttle. With this update, they also added, or re-added, the knife. a surprisingly powerful melee weapon. It would then later move on to make changes to Artifact, making the winning points 7 instead of the prior 11, and adding a new map variant to Scout's knives on Mar. They also made the knife throwable. The game would then proceed to have multiple patches until the 24th of January 2024. The release of a Proto 1.0 so they could stress test it. With this massive update, they added quick play, progression, 4 new weapons, a new ammo system, the ammo pouch, 2 new maps, Void and Atlas. The game is officially launching on February 15th. This is an exciting new milestone for the game. With this brief history in mind, let's move on to another aspect of the game, its importance. The importance of Vail VR stems from more than just the game itself, but also the state of games in today's day and age. Devs are overworked and underpaid, games are released in incomplete states, and most development teams give next to no communication interaction with the community. The best example of this is with Activision and their titular series Call of Duty. Most of those games released with controversial or lackluster content are clearly unfinished and rushed out the door to meet a deadline like it's a meal at a restaurant. Video games are an art, take time and effort. If done sloppy or left unfinished, it can leave the enjoyers of the art with at its best a half-baked product and it not reaching its fullest potential. Vail VR's development team, AEXLAB, is an antithesis to this of sorts, communicating frequently on social media and whatever you may consider Discord. Devs tend to run frequent Ask Me Anythings, are quite open of many things to the community, which is a drastic change of pace from other games where the devs rarely interact with the community. Another positive thing about the game is the extremely well-polished and satisfying gunplay. Having played everything from Robo Recall, Zero Caliber, Contractors, and onward, I have seen many different styles of handling guns and ammo, from hyper-realistic to reloading by throwing your guns at an opponent. The game finds a happy medium, selling for a bonework style approach, having guns and ammo mag physics, but also polished gunplay, opting for an ammo pouch where you store all your mags, and having your primary floating close to your center of mass and your pistol around your hip. Your knife is also around your shoulder, and your nades are on your arms. The ammo pouch allows for players to scavenge other players' ammo quickly, as well as allows all of someone's ammo to be stored in one consistent place. It also allows those who like reloading their guns after eliminating someone, even if they used a couple bullets, to not have a half-empty mag to deal with. The game allows you to put your mag back into the ammo pouch and not have to deal with it. It strikes a middle balance with the guns that allows for most engagements to be fair and balanced with the time to kill. All the guns in the loot pool have distinct benefits and downfalls, allowing any gun to be viable in the right hands. This lends to the competitive nature of the game, which is best showcased in the game's most prominent mode, Artifact. This game mode, a fresh take on Search and Destroy, puts 2 teams against each other, with one team protecting pillars which the other team must attempt to plant an artifact on. The defending team must stall for time to run out on the match timer, defuse the artifact, or in case of both teams, eliminate the whole opposing team. At 8 matches in, the team swaps sides. At the beginning of a match, and at the switching sides, all players do not spawn with a primary weapon and must rely on their equipment and secondary to win that round. Vail rewards players with satisfying kill sound effects and even more satisfying headshots. The game is easy to learn but difficult to master and allows for a great deal of replayability, allowing those who improve with cosmetics and an extremely rewarding progression system. The feeling of having a high kill game with low deaths is a beautiful and satisfying sight. It brings me back to the OG Call of Duty and Halo days. The game adapts many elements that made those games special. Well-made selection of maps and modes, as well as having non-disbanding lobbies and map voting. While lacking a campaign so far, the game makes up for it with satisfying gunplay, good communication from the devs, as well as adapting many positive things from other games. This game's solid groundwork, I believe, can usher in a new era for VR games, much like Halo and Call of Duty did for pancake games. This game has a flair to it that many games have tried and failed to replicate over the years and has been lost in both of those franchises. While I have spoken quite positively about the game thus far, that does not mean the game has its downfalls.
Say right now, this game is home was going to feel crack.
As hinted prior, Vail has had its fair share of bugs, some causing crashes, others various audio bugs, and others a bit more comedic. Regardless, these issues made the Quest version of the game at its AEXLAB launch a bit unwieldy for some. Other issues arise from the potential downfalls of Unreal Engine 5, being the newest evolution of the Unreal Engine. It has caused, and can be, a buggy mess at times. Vail has not been spared of this either, causing these various issues. However, the development team is working hard to fix these bugs and are extremely open to feedback. Another issue arises from what many games have had to deal with: how to handle the competitive and casual player balance. The best example of this being a problem is Population 1. Players have gotten good enough at the game that the skill floor for casual players goes up tremendously high. This makes many of the casual players deal with a frustrating game cycle for them learning the ropes of the game. Many tend to have a low retention rate because of this. Prior to launch of Vail, it would be a common occurrence for casual players and those at the competitive level to constantly interact, considering the game being hard to play and not many people playing it because of it. With launch, the Vail should have a new steady stream of players looking to try it out, and this should help alleviate the problem. Now with this all in mind, before we bring everything together, I have a special guest, a fairly new player to VR, ThePrayingDalek, to discuss his thoughts on the game.
Well, I'm a fairly new VR player. I'd say I have about 3 weeks playing VR. Some of the games that I've played a few shooters, mainly Pop 1 and a little bit of Ghost Switch War. Vail, though, on the other hand, has been a lot of fun. Yeah, I've been playing that for 3 weeks. Also, it was one of the first VR games that I played. The gunplay is pretty nice. The guns are really balanced, and they have some pretty good selections right now, even at its beta stages. The SMGs I've had a lot of fun with because I love up close combat. The assault rifle's pretty good, but by far my favorite weapon has to be the shotgun that they added. I can't remember the name of it. I'm not good with memorizing gun names, but yeah. So the different modes, like Artifact's confusing a little bit, just for me having to set up the little orb thing or whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but that thing. Yeah, so there's that. Team Deathmatch is your standard, like COD style Team Deathmatch. Free for all is pretty self-explanatory. You just shoot everyone against everyone. Yeah, so there's that, and so some negatives I might have is when it comes to joining in a match, there's a lot of really, really good players, and as a noob, that really kind of sucks for me because I die a lot and I'm not as good as the other players. So it, it's not as fun as the game as it could be. But there's a workaround that, and I'm sure that'll be fixed when the game actually releases. If I could add anything, it would probably be just more guns, maybe some more modes and maps. Maybe like a map that takes place on a train or something, like a train chase. That'd be cool. Maybe a little weird, but something like that, or maybe a map that moves, like you're on a cargo plane, and you have to and they taking cover, like they slide and stuff as the plane's moving. Get down! Get down! I don't know if they would add that into Vail, but just a suggestion. So my overall thoughts for the game are, the game is pretty good. If I had to rate it out of 10, it'd probably be a pretty solid 8. There's a few things I think they could add, and it is lacking a little bit, but not a whole lot. And it's in its beta stages, so I can, kind of put that aside. But yeah, the game's it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I think it's also going to attract the attention of a lot of big names, like a lot of COD players are probably going to enjoy the game because it does feel kind of similar to COD in the gunplay, other than it doesn't have the sliding, which is nice. And in fact, I think Vail's a little better than COD. But yeah, I highly recommend Vail and go check it out. So yeah.
Vail VR is an interesting game. It has a solid, meaningful gunplay, an already dedicated fan base, a good development team, and a fantastic gameplay loop that, while isn't going for the milsim gameplay, is still immersive and incredibly polished. With many new and amazing updates on the way post-launch, I expect that this already amazing game will become something truly special. This game brings me back to the old Call of Duty and Halo days, with the lightning in the bottle it managed to obtain. While the game has some issues, they're fairly outweighed by the good the game features. So with this all in mind, let's talk about what to expect from launch. With the launch of Vail VR, you'll be able to explore 12 maps and 30 unique variations of them for the various game modes. Artifact, Hardpoint, Capture the Flag, 1v1 duels, Team Deathmatch, and many more. As you play, you can unlock new weapons, sights, and gun and character skins as you level up. With the launch also comes matchmaking, 3 new weapons, a semi-auto shotgun, a pump shotgun, and the Deagle. 2 new maps, Atmos and Void, friends and parties, and a leaderboard and stat tracking system. For any content creators out there, Vail is launching a content creator program which comes with rewards which can help boost your channel. How to apply will be in the description. Also coming with launch is a giveaway, featuring a custom VR-ready gaming PC in collaboration with Havi147. Specs will be in the description, and alongside this, 5 merch packages, 10 Quest 3s, all of them being 128 gigabytes, and potentially more unannounced exclusive prizes. I will link the giveaway in the description and the comments. I will also link the Quest store page. Now, without further ado, with all of this in mind, I would rate the game a solid 8 out of 10. While the game is not perfect by any means, what it does have, the core aspects of it, are extremely well made and solid. The game has so much potential, and I am excited to see where it goes next.
Round starting.
Love how that.